Here's a culture tip that could literally get you arrested. In France, kissing your partner on a park bench is considered romantic. In Dubai, that same kiss could land you in jail for public indecency. Welcome to the world of public displays of affection, where holding hands can mean everything from sweet to scandalous, depending on where you're standing.
Let's start with France, because they've basically turned public affection into a national identity.
Very French.
Right? In France, couples kiss on the street, on the metro, in parks, anywhere really. It's not considered inappropriate or showing off. It's just normal romantic behavior.
So nobody blinks?
Nobody. There's this American exchange student, Emily, who studied in Paris. She was constantly stunned by couples making out on park benches, on bridges, in cafes. What would get you told to get a room in America was just Tuesday in Paris.
It's about romance as part of public life?
Exactly. French culture doesn't separate public and private personas as strictly. If you're in love, why would you hide it? Public affection is seen as celebrating your relationship, not imposing on others.
What's the actual line, though?
Full-on making out on the metro? Totally fine. But there is an unspoken line. It's about romance, not sexuality. You're expressing affection, not getting inappropriate. The French have this sophisticated understanding of what's romantic versus what's sexual.
How very French.
It really is, and it extends to touch in general. Walking arm in arm, hands in each other's back pockets, casual kisses throughout the day, all completely normal.
So for someone from a more reserved culture...
It's overwhelming! That exchange student Emily said it took her months to stop feeling uncomfortable when her French boyfriend would kiss her in public. In America, she'd been taught that was too much PDA.
The Great American PDA debate.
Oh, we have opinions about this. Too much hand-holding? Inappropriate. But what's too much varies wildly by region, age group, and who's around.
Now, Middle Eastern cultures, particularly places like Dubai, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, take the complete opposite position, don't they?
Completely opposite. In Dubai, kissing in public is illegal. Not frowned upon, actually against the law. You can be fined, deported, or even jailed, depending on the circumstances.
Even for married couples?
Even for married couples. The law doesn't distinguish. Public displays of affection are considered disrespectful to Islamic values and public decency. What's private should stay private.
So what's allowed?
Holding hands is usually okay for married couples, but even that can be iffy depending on the specific emirate or who's watching. A quick kiss on the cheek as a greeting between men might be fine, but romantic kissing? Absolutely not.
What happens when tourists don't know this?
They get in trouble. There's this British couple who got arrested at a restaurant in Dubai for kissing. They thought they were being discreet. Other diners complained, police got involved. It became a whole legal nightmare.
Culture shock doesn't quite cover it.
No. And it's not just about law, it's about deep cultural values. In many Middle Eastern cultures, modesty is paramount. Public affection suggests you're prioritizing personal desires over community standards of appropriate behavior.
So it's less about romance and more about public versus private boundaries.
Exactly. What you do in private is your business. But in public, you're part of a community with shared standards of modesty. Public affection violates that.
What about other Muslim-majority countries?
It varies dramatically. Turkey, for instance, is much more relaxed in urban areas like Istanbul. You'll see couples holding hands, some light affection. Indonesia is more conservative. Public affection is definitely frowned upon, though not criminalized like in the Gulf states.
So even within Islamic culture, the standards differ.
Hugely. It depends on how the country interprets Islamic guidelines, local culture, and how conservative the specific community is. So here's where international couples run into massive problems. You've got these wildly different standards for what's acceptable public affection.
Examples?
Argentina is like France, very affectionate publicly. Couples kiss on street corners, hold each other constantly. It's part of the culture. Now, imagine an Argentine dating someone from Indonesia, where public affection is uncomfortable at best.
Relationship disaster.
Absolutely. The Argentine feels rejected. Why won't you hold my hand? The Indonesian feels disrespected. Why do you always need to touch me in public?
And both think the other person is being unreasonable.
Neither is unreasonable. They're just following their cultural programming about where affection belongs.
What about more moderate positions?
Britain falls somewhere in the middle. Some hand-holding is fine, maybe a quick kiss, but anything more gets uncomfortable looks. We're not as reserved as Dubai, but definitely not as open as France.
We prefer to keep our emotions private, thank you very much.
That's the British way, and that causes its own confusion. I had a British colleague dating a Brazilian woman. She kept initiating public affection, hugs, kisses, hand-holding. He kept pulling away, not because he didn't care about her, but because it felt inappropriate to him.
How did she interpret that?
As him being ashamed of her or not really interested. It nearly ended the relationship before they figured out it was cultural, not personal.
Because our comfort with public affection isn't personality, it's culture.
Yes, some people aren't naturally affectionate, sure, but entire cultures have norms about what's appropriate, and we internalize those so deeply, we think they're universal.
Here's what's really at the heart of this. Different cultures draw the public-private boundary in different places.
French culture says romance belongs everywhere, including public. Middle Eastern cultures say romance belongs in private only. Most cultures fall somewhere in between.
And when you're from one culture dating someone from another, you're constantly renegotiating that boundary.
Every single interaction. Do we hold hands on this street? Is a goodbye kiss okay here? What level of affection is appropriate at this restaurant?
Must be exhausting.
It is. But here's the thing. International couples have to actively negotiate these boundaries instead of assuming their partner shares their programming.
So what's the actual solution?
Explicit conversation. In my culture, this level of public affection is normal. What's comfortable for you? And then, finding a compromise you can both live with.
Which might mean the French person dials it back and the Middle Eastern person stretches their comfort zone.
Exactly. Maybe you don't make out on the metro, but you do hold hands. Maybe you save kissing for more private moments, but increase other forms of affection.
The culture tip here is that affection norms aren't moral judgments.
The French aren't shameless for public kissing. Middle Easterners aren't repressed for preferring privacy. They're just different cultural frameworks for where romance belongs.
And your partner might have completely different programming about what's appropriate.
Which means you can't just follow your instincts. You have to actively learn each other's comfort zones and create something that works for both of you.
Rather than just doing what feels natural and hoping your partner isn't quietly dying of embarrassment.
Or quietly wondering why you're so cold in public.
Thanks for watching this exploration of public displays of affection across cultures. If you've ever been confused about what's appropriate, now you know why.
Next episode is the final one in our dating series, the family forecast. Because if public affection is complicated, wait until you navigate meeting the parents. In Italy, bringing someone home to meet your family is basically an engagement announcement. In Norway, it's just casual. Get that wrong, and you've accidentally proposed.
Subscribe for new episodes every Tuesday and Friday, and share your own PDA cultural confusion stories in the comments.
We love hearing how you navigated the affection minefield.
Until next time, may your public affection be culturally appropriate.
And legally permissible.